My name is Roman Tolstek, and I hate to start us off in this way, but I don't know how else to start it. So basically, what this is a documentary of the startup of a company.
What is this I'm feeling? If you wanna leave, I'm with it. We've come too far to give up.
Okay, so back to Ronaware Vidoc number whatever at this point. I guess I'll start. I'll start off with kind of where we are now, and so we are a couple of weeks behind schedule now. We're supposed to have a product delivered, but some things came up. Not all of it's on our fault, just because we didn't have the right sample with us. We didn't have the right documentation. We didn't know just what size we can make the chip or what size we should make the chip. And so right now we went back to the company that we're working with, and we asked them for exactly what we need. And I kind of gave them I gave them an ultimatum. I said, listen, the only way we can carry on at this point is if one, you either get us some very good documentation which shows the size of a technical drawing, which shows the size of the lamp from every possible angle and the type of wiring it has, or you get us an actual live sample of the exact unit you want us to use. So we got the documentation, and now I sent it off to my engineers. They're working on that side. That's kind of where we are now. So now we know exactly how big this chip can be, or our technology can be, the hardware can be, to go inside this lamp, and maybe we're extending spots where we can actually hide it. So the other side of this that I want to talk about was the story of the sliding story, right? Where it started with me just casually talking to somebody I know who owns a company, and they were very gung-ho about this. And so as we talked, what they wanted was for us to build them an arc lamp. Not to build an arc lamp, but to build technology for an arc lamp. And an arc lamp is a lamp that kind of hangs over a couch, right? It goes behind the couch and hangs over it. And so we had kind of an idea in our head of what it was going to look like, right? Which is kind of like this. Unfortunately, that's not exactly what they had in mind. And so I wasn't quite sure what we were supposed to look like, so we asked them for a sample. The sample we got was not an arc lamp at all. It was actually a light that looked more like this. Completely different, right? What we got was this little hotel light with a integrated light bulb in it, like a little LED chip, that is hardwired into a wall. Now, an arc lamp is something you just plug into an outlet, and it has a standard light bulb in there. Completely different product, completely different dimensions, completely different application. Now, the real arc lamp that they wanted us to build this for looks more like this. And so you can see, even from our original idea of what this thing should have looked like as an arc lamp, this arc lamp is something completely different. And so at this point, I can't overstress how important it is to get the exact information that you're going to be working with right out there at the very beginning. Otherwise, you're gonna waste some time trying to figure out how to build, what to build, and what size to build it to. The specs are so important, and I guess as they say, the devil's in the details. At least I think it's the same. Anyway, that's kind of where we are now. So now we have the correct information, and we're working off of that. On the other side of it, we're also working for a pathway light. The technology is some pathway lights. That's going pretty well. We actually have the exact sample that we're building for, and it's going really well. As I talk to my engineers and kind of get some feedback throughout the week, everything seems to be kind of falling into place there. One of the big things that they wanted was to have lights that can be grouped and controlled individually from other lights, and that's something that other smart tech companies haven't been able to deliver for them, but we can. We also are implementing dimmable lights and other features that go along with it. The other part of this is the lesson of the week, in this case, what I wanted to go over was how to build technology, how to build a product, having the consumer in mind. And so in our case, we have to figure out how a person is going to be using this. And so what are some important things for a person to have? So for instance, one of the features that we have is obviously dimmable lights, right? In case you wanted to dim the lights to a certain level, if they're too bright, if they're not bright enough, you want to raise it, then this back up. Like let's say if you're watching a movie and you want the lights to be lower, you could do that. The other thing is that we have a kind of a checking system where a person can, let's say they leave to go somewhere and they can't remember to turn the lights on or off. Right? Not only are they wasting electricity, it's also a safety hazard, right? If the lamp gets knocked over for whatever reason, if they have a pet or something, hits the floor, it could cause a fire. So our app can determine if the light's on or off, and if it's on, you can turn it off from anywhere in the world. Not that you probably need to, you probably might just be on the street, but you don't have to be home to turn the lamp on and off. The real issue here was designing that app, and designing an app that a person can use right away. There is virtually no manual, right? As soon as you pick it up, the idea is you got to be able to know how to use it. And the approach we took here was to make it as minimalistic as possible. So it's pretty simple in its look, right? Because what it has is just 3 areas you can click on, and as you can see here, it has the main function button, which is the big one, the on and off, right? Because that's the main function of the light. It has a menu button, which a person can go into and give them a little more control over that lamp. That's where you can dim it, you can set a timer, you can do whatever. Or in the case of a pathway light, you can group them. And the last button it has on the home screen is just a settings button. And that's it. It's just 3 buttons. So somebody grabbing this, grabbing the app right away can see, oh, okay, so this is where I do this. And it's that simple. But I can't stress that enough, how important it is to have an app that's really, really, really simple to use. Because so many times you get into a new application and you're trying to just figure out, like, well, where do I go for this? Now with some apps it's a lot easier, right? With simple ones there's not much you can do, but with more complicated apps where they have a lot of information, you got to find a way to figure that out. And so one of the better ways to do that is to think of an app in quads, right? Like we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's say this is your screen and you have 4 areas, and kind of plan around those 4 areas with having clearly defined action points, if you will, that a person can interact with. The other thing is try to focus on using icons instead of text. So that way, if somebody picks up your app and starts looking at it, they can see what they need to do right away without having to actually focus on what individual word says. They can see, like, if there's a button with a little water icon on it, there could be something for to controlling water or whatever, or an icon with a heat wave on it could be the temperature gauge and stuff like that. And so focus around working icons, divide the app into quadrants, and that way you can kind of give you an idea of exactly what you can hit where. And then think about too, as you're holding an app, as you're holding your phone, what can you actually reach with your thumb? So you don't want to put a button that somebody's going to use very often in the far left corner, right? With most people being right-handed, it wouldn't make sense. The other part of this lesson is actually a 2-parter, is planning ahead of time for the minutia. In this case, our issue was the Bluetooth. And I don't know if this is an issue, this is something I just thought of just a few days ago, as I was using my Bluetooth headphones. And when I would leave my headphone on my desk and walk away with my phone, when I'd come back, that Bluetooth headphone would no longer be connected to the phone. And so I'm wondering, in this light situation, if we're using both Wi-Fi and Bluetooth technology. And the idea is that if you're close by within Bluetooth range, it will work a lot faster for Bluetooth. If you're further away, you can use Wi-Fi. But if you're, in our case, if you walk away, say to work, whatever, and you come back afterwards home, how do we get, or is there even a way to get the Bluetooth to reconnect automatically without the user instigating that. And that's kind of where we are. It's something I'm going to present to the engineers tonight as we have our chat to figure out if that's going to be an issue or not. The final piece of this is the business tool highlight. In this case, I want to highlight LinkedIn, which has been amazing for communicating and reaching out to business leaders. Now, I personally cringe at the thought of cold calling. I hate it. I hate it. I think it's the worst way to do business, to just call somebody up or email randomly and say, hey, would you like our product? This is what's so great about us. LinkedIn it makes it a little bit easier because you can find the exact people you want to reach out to. You can make initial contact very casually, and then from there you can start kind of building the foundation. And that's something I've been doing a little bit here and there, where I would, like one of the categories that we want to get into is safes. And so I started reaching out. I found a list of safe companies. I went online and I found out who are the people behind these safe companies, the CEO or the president or the owner. And I started stalking them on LinkedIn, connecting with them, and then reaching out to them and just a simple hello, thanks for connecting, and then from there, if I get a response, I'll go further. If not, then maybe I'll nudge them in a little bit, give it a week or two. But LinkedIn has been a great tool. Now you can pay the premium to be able to reach out to anybody at any time, no matter how far the connection is. But I've been using the free version where I've just been building myself up slowly and expanding my net. It takes a little bit longer, but it costs nothing, and you get a lot of great connections. And you also don't have that sponsored message thing going on. So that's something to keep in mind for when you want to reach out to people, find more clients, find more business partners, find even people that want to maybe invest in your company, is use LinkedIn. Use LinkedIn to kind of build that network, to gather the core group of people that you need to start doing the business with. And I think that's pretty much it for this recap.